Thank you for being here. It is Sunday, August 24th, 2025. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. Welcome to all the new subscribers. All right, watching these two areas. This is Fernand. That is going to stay to the east of Bermuda as expected. We'll track that as it kind of lifts up toward the north and then eventually the northeast. This is the bigger concern, what is moving in for us in the eastern Caribbean. I'm still not quite seeing development, but there's a lot in the way of rain and storms with this. And as it moves into the Caribbean, there could eventually be some development as we get down the road. So let me zoom down to that. So here we are in Dominica, down through Trinidad. Here's Barbados. Barbados first, down through Trinidad. We're going to see some rain and even some thunderstorms starting to move in, especially as the day goes on into tonight. And that'll spread across Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, the Grenadines, and Grenada. So tonight we could get some heavier weather. I'll be up overnight watching this with you, watching out for some areas of flooding. I'll be watching your comments. So thank you for leaving those. If you have some of the rain moving in, again, this is not a named system, but you see these brighter colors, that's telling me we have taller cloud tops. In that, a lot of tropical moisture, a lot of tropical rain. So be mindful, we are going to see some areas of flooding as we go over the next couple days. Now, as this area moves in, still not seeing development in the short term. There is a chance it could become, say, a tropical depression over the next 24 hours or so. But looking longer term, as this area moves near Jamaica, back toward Belize, there could be a little bit of development here. The American model, the European and Canadian model are not seeing development. So I mentioned a low chance, there is a chance, but overall it is low. The icon model, though, does insist on some sort of tropical depression or tropical storm eventually developing, maybe near the Western Caribbean, Southern Gulf over toward the Bay of Campeche. So that'll be something we're going to monitor. I want to show you that icon model in just a second. Now let's start with the rain though as we go island by island. You can see this white shading here in Martinique, for example. This is a computer model, but the white shading is showing 100 millimeters of rain or 4 inches of rain. Now, it's a computer model, so this may be on top of Dominica, maybe this is on top of St. Lucia, maybe it's scattered for all of us. So, but this gives us a feel. You see these white shadings showing up that we have a lot of tropical moisture around. So heads up in this area, we are going to have some totals over 100 millimeters of rain or 4 inches of rain. That could lead to flooding. Watching Trinidad, for example, we had a few isolated areas of flooding yesterday. So that'll just add to it. But Barbados, we're going to see some rounds of some heavy rain and even some gusty winds that will be moving in at times. Now, this area will shoot to the west over the next 2 days. Once it gets into the Caribbean, especially as we work our way into Tuesday and Wednesday, there's actually a lot of wind shear above our heads, which is a good thing. That would try to limit some of the development, but that may lessen as this area works its way toward the Western Caribbean as we get deeper into the upcoming week. And you can see here, as we go on in time, these are those same squiggly lines, a day out, 2 days out, 3 days out in time. And the tropical storm shading here is the green shading. That would be tropical storm force, I should say. We're going to be borderline that over the next few days. So I did mention as this moves into the Eastern Caribbean, there is a slight chance it won't take much more for this to spin up into a tropical depression, potentially a tropical storm. Gabrielle, that is the next name on the list. So kind of borderline, but that's why I mentioned that flood threat, some of the gusty winds, squally weather as this area moves in, and then we'll just kind of monitor it long term. But looking longer term, while the conditions above our heads are not conducive for development, which is good, this is some of the warmest waters. This works its way into the Western Caribbean, Jamaica, Cayman Islands, Cuba, back through Belize, Mexico, Honduras. Very warm water. We're looking at about 31 degrees Celsius, pushing 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Same thing as we slide into the Gulf, and that's why I'm watching this ever so closely. Even for us in the Eastern Caribbean, we've seen those water temperatures really warming. It's supposed to be warm this time of year. It is summer, but we've seen a bump up in some of those temperatures, kind of an untouched area of water over the last few weeks, allowing things to increase for the water temps. Now, let me show you this. Here's the American model. Then I want to show you the icon model. Scattered areas of rain. Don't want to lose sight of that. Some of the moisture here. Watching some of the rain back toward Florida. Even the northern Bahamas. We'll track that in a moment. But it's this spot here that will continue tonight into tomorrow morning, tomorrow throughout the day, some areas of heavier rain. Again, it's not a system that is well defined. So with that, some of us may get dumped on, others maybe not a whole lot, but we do need to monitor this flood threat as it moves in, especially over the next 24 to 36 hours. That's why I showed you those rain totals. Then on Tuesday, this tropical wave moves in. Whether or not it's developed at this point, we'll be watching it. Keep an eye on the ABC Islands. Maybe we get a slightly better chance of some rain. Southern coast of Haiti near Jacmel, Santo Domingo, as we work our way back through the Dominican Republic. This is Wednesday. It's not showing any organization, but we could get clipped by some additional rain Wednesday into Thursday. Jamaica, Cayman Islands, and then we look down to the south, Honduras, San Andreas, Providencia, better chance of rain, and then we go forward in time here. This is by Friday, and you see all of this rain here. And again, the American model is not showing development, but this has my attention because what I showed you, not only do we have this blob of rain sitting here, but those water temperatures, they are so very warm. So monitoring this just to see if anything develops. Now, some of the models want to shoot this area right into the Eastern Pacific, but a few of them, like the American model, try to draw this a little bit back toward the northwest. So we'll keep an eye on it. But you even see on Saturday the potential of additional rain. Cuba, Cayman Islands, watching over toward Cozumel, Cancun, even back toward Merida and Campeche, Belize City over toward Ladyville, Hopkins, Roatan, we'd get a better chance of rain. So this is the spot. Again, low chance of development, but it is not out of the question. So know that I'm watching that very carefully. Now, here's the ICON model, which has been showing more in the way of development. Here we are in the Caribbean, Jamaica, Trinidad, and you can see that additional rain. This here is by the time we get into tonight and tomorrow morning, heavy areas of rain. So again, thank you for spreading the word about this. We don't need a name system to give us that flood potential. We're going to have that later today and tonight into tomorrow morning for some of us. Then going out in time here, this is by the time we get into Thursday. Here's Jamaica, Cayman Islands, and you see this area of rain here. Not showing development yet on the ICON model, really south of Cuba here. But there's that blob of rain that would be on Thursday. Then after that, the ICON model does want to start to develop this area, potentially into a tropical depression or tropical storm as it gets into the far western Caribbean, very close to the Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico and Belize. So one of the models is trying to latch onto development. The others are not. Sometimes the ICON model does a good job at seeing development before others. It's actually been seeing this tropical wave staying stronger, which it has been. So maybe the ICON model's reading the atmosphere a little bit better and know that behind the scenes. I'm not just looking at the models, doing the same thing, watching that atmosphere very carefully to see if this does develop. So it would not be surprising for this to turn into a tropical depression, maybe a tropical storm. Now watching this is Fernand. This is going to stay to the east of Bermuda. There's no high pressure blocking it. There's a front moving in that allows it to lift to the north. That blocker area of high pressure is not there, but it stays to the east of Bermuda. Some welcome rain through parts of the Atlantic region of Canada, watching the Maritimes in particular for a better chance of rain. And then you can see that active pattern right through the extreme northern Bahamas and still back through Florida. A lot in the way of some additional rain with that front just kind of sagging to the south. Watching over toward the Rocky Mountains, lifting up with some afternoon thunderstorms, that sort of thing, some evening thunderstorms, monitoring some flooding. But here is Bermuda. Fernand will stay to the east of Bermuda and will stay to the south and east of Newfoundland and the Avalon Peninsula as we work our way down the road. Kind of a short-lived system. Winds right now 40, maybe 50 miles per hour to about 80 kilometers an hour, but all of that once again sitting over the open water. Seas though will be elevated. So we had Aaron, Fernand, that is the one that will stay to the east of Bermuda and then eventually weaken in the North Atlantic. Gabrielle, that is the next name on the list. Then Umberto, Imelda, Jerry, Karen, Lorenzo, Melissa as we work our way down the list. Now you can see the seas. This spot, here's Bermuda right here. This spot, that's with Fernand, but the overall swells, that's still because of the leftovers of Aaron. That's all weakened, but those swells still generated, so the seas stay elevated. But watching this spot, this is by Tuesday, Wednesday into Thursday, just watching the central Caribbean, choppy, rougher seas as this tropical wave moves in, and then we'll be monitoring for signs of development as we go throughout the week ahead. But here are some heavy areas of rain. Freeport, New Providence, we may get some of the downpours. Much of the Bahamas were on the dry side. Northern stretches back through Florida, the better chance of getting some of those downpours around. And then we swing back toward eastern Cuba, hit or miss storms. Jamaica, some of us could get a shower storm, but we'll keep an eye on the end of the week in particular. Same thing, Cayman Islands, to see how this tropical wave progresses. Haiti, the DR, will watch out for a couple showers and storms. That could give us a quick 50 millimeters of rain. But it's really this pocket in through here that I highlighted earlier for the potential of some flooding, even some mudslides in some spots as that tropical wave moves in. Trinidad and Tobago, our rain chance will go up. Northeastern Venezuela, not as much Guyana and Suriname, and still watching out for some areas of rain. It's one of those patterns across much of Central America. Some of us still too dry. Others have been getting repeat rain where we could see some 3-day rain totals over 75 millimeters, maybe up to 100 millimeters of rain. Watching Costa Rica, Panama, Mexico City, seeing that increased chance of flooding over the next 2 days. Much of Texas, not a whole lot. Here's that front, even clipping by the Outer Banks of North Carolina. We'll get a better chance of some of that rain as we go forward. So kind of an active pattern. 40% chance of a shower storm for us in Jamaica. Cayman Islands were mainly dry over the next couple days. But as we work our way back toward Trinidad and Tobago, as the tropical wave moves in, some of us get some rain, some of us not a whole lot. But over the next day or two, monitoring that flood threat. I'll be watching your comments. There's that higher chance of rain coming at us in Barbados. Been giving you the heads up on that over the last couple of days. That is moving in for us, and especially tonight, Barbados, back through St. Lucia. We could have some flooding into tomorrow morning. Monitoring that higher rain chance for tomorrow. Active around Grenada. Same thing like Trinidad and Tobago, where we'll have those scattered areas of rain with this tropical wave moving in. Northern sections of St. Vincent, the Grenadine, St. Vincent in particular, better chance of rain over the next 2 days. Martinique late today into tonight and tomorrow, that higher chance of rain. Same thing in Dominica. We could see some areas of flooding. We'll monitor that. I'll be watching your comments. Thank you for spreading the word across Dominica about this strong tropical wave that is moving in. 50 to 60% chance in Guadeloupe, and then we lift to the north. That rain chance is down. This is where we're kind of in the isolated zone. Antigua, Bermuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Montserrat. Small 30% chance of a shower, and Anguilla and St. Bart's, 20 to 30% chance. St. Martin, Saba, and Statia. Spotty thunderstorms, though, possible in Puerto Rico, a 30 to 40% chance. Rain chance a little higher on Tuesday, U.S. and British Virgin Islands, as the tropical wave moves into the Caribbean and starts to move across. Northern Bahamas, the higher chance of rain. Turks and Caicos were mainly dry. 40% chance of some scattered thunderstorms in the Dominican Republic, and about a 20 to 30% chance of some isolated showers and storms in Haiti. Belize, though, some of that moisture lifting in as we work our way over the next 2 days. Tomorrow and Tuesday, we'll have a better chance of getting some much needed rain. And then, of course, monitoring the end of the week to see what happens with that tropical wave. Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire will watch midweek. That's when that rain chance may bump up a little bit, should bump up a little bit with that tropical wave moving by. Guyana, rain chance 40%, 30% chance the next couple of days in Suriname. Scattered thunderstorms, especially central and eastern sections of Cuba. In Costa Rica, Panama, that high chance of rain. Again, some of us dry, but others getting dumped on. Monitoring some of that flooding around. 50 to 60% chance in Nicaragua as that moisture lifts in. And you see in Honduras, rain chance early in the week will be higher. 60% chance today in Guatemala and El Salvador, up to an 80% chance for tomorrow. Mexico City, we could see some high rain totals, watching out for that flood potential. 30 to 40% chance as of now across the Yucatan Peninsula. 50% chance in northern Colombia. In northeastern Venezuela, with that tropical wave nearby, the better chance of some of that rain. In Bermuda, watching Fernand staying off to the east. So this strong tropical wave, it is moving in. Areas of heavier rain, flooding, that is the big concern. Even if it's whether or not it becomes a tropical depression in the short term or tropical storm, the biggest issue will be some of that rain. I will monitor for some development and then watch it as it works its way across the Caribbean. And there's Fernand moving off to the east of Bermuda. The next name on the list, that is Gabrielle. So thank you for being with me, sharing this channel with your friends, family, or community. Have a good day ahead.